So the company was actually set up in 1982. It was actually originally set up in the 70s by a man called Bob Lonsdale, and it used to be called Qualvis Litho. And my dad used to be a general manager for packaging companies throughout the UK. And a lot of the printing work he'd send off to Qualvis for that to be done, undertaken by them. And then over the years, they decided maybe if we get together, we can create Qualvis Print and Packaging. And that's when the company was formed. So yeah, we've had some ups and downs, but luckily I have to say we've got a great team behind us and we're really making waves in the packaging industry. We're really happy with the investments we've got. We're always trying to push innovation and it's a really great team to work with. Oh, highly important. I mean, especially as I said, we try and pitch ourselves as being innovative. So we need to be working with machine manufacturers and suppliers who obviously support our goals and have the same mindset. So yeah, we're very happy to be working with Koenig & Bauer because they've really ticked a lot of boxes on what we're trying to achieve.
I am a nerd, yeah, super print nerd. I can't go around a supermarket without being dragged away by my wife. So yeah, I am definitely a packaging nerd. The technology, the way it moves on, no job is ever a repeat job. Despite our customers thinking it's just a repeat job, everything does change and it's really the technology that moves on so quickly. That's what keeps it really fresh. And I love bringing new ideas to our customers. The segments that we operate in are predominantly food, but it's premium food, and then we do a lot of healthcare, beauty, and confectionery markets. The general trends are all underpinned by sustainability. The customers are really interested in embellishing packaging, but it's always got to be from a sustainable angle. And we absolutely pride ourselves in innovation. That's a cornerstone of our business. But it always has to be the sustainability. But we want to do that without compromise. We need to deliver the printing and finishing effects to the consumer, ultimately the person who's picking that up on shelf, but it has to be sustainable. So really, it's embellishment, but with sustainability first and foremost. Yeah, I think we've looked hard at what's happening in terms of legislation within the markets that we operate in, what's currently out there, and that's one of the reasons why we spent a long time in research and development developing our own sustainable metallization solution, which we've called Q-Luster. So the idea is really simple. It's putting a metallization onto a sheet, but with an ink instead of a direct foil transfer, whether that be a cold foil transfer or a hot stamp foil transfer. It's actually putting the metallization on with an ink, with a high luster ink in a flexo process. Like every application, it has its limitations, but we've configured the back end of the press specifically to embellish and enhance the metallization and the luster within that. So we've got a coat print coat configuration, which allows us to really get the fine detail on the silver and embellish that with a gloss, which brings out the luster in that, and hence the name Q-Luster. So yeah, we feel we're very comparable to cold foil with really good efficiencies through our processes as well. The configuration is a unique configuration. I believe it is the only one of that particular configuration in the world. So it's a 7-color triple coater. We've got the pre-coater at the front of the machine, and then we've got our 6 printing units, and then with a coat print coat configuration on the back end of that. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, and it gives us a lot of bang for our buck in terms of what we can deliver, the cost effectiveness of that, to create the amount of colours with a cold foil system. Conventionally, we'd have had to buy another 2 units for our press. So yeah, we feel we got good bang for our buck, I guess. Yeah, the pre-coater unit can be used for a lot of different applications, some conventional within the marketplace, but there's quite a few other non-conventional applications that we're currently working on in an R&D process, which hopefully, maybe in a year or two's time we can have a conversation about. But it certainly does give a lot of flexibility for many different applications within the business as well. because for us it's all about building those relationships and securing our customers with us long term within the business.
A lot, to be fair. The blue repeater is only 7 years old itself, 8 years old itself. So the change between that press and the new press is light years. The new software, the new technology, the new ways of working, the ways of working for the operators as well, the way they've made it easier on certain aspects that we struggled with in the past on the old machine. Yeah, you can show they've thought about it. It's made a huge difference. And they're almost like two complete different machines despite having the same chassis essentially. Yes, it does, I suppose, in a way. Because there's not a tried and tested method out there, we're still learning it ourselves. We're doing regular trials, working out what works well, what doesn't work well. Still learning the best techniques, the best practices, and also still working out what consumables work well. So what consumables would work on a standard 4-colour print job doesn't necessarily work with the Q-Lister with the silver. So yeah, it's a big learning process, but we're getting there, we're doing well. Like I say, we've got some jobs out in the market now. Every time we put the job on, it's getting better and better. Yeah, it's great when you see similar products coming off of the press and seeing the effects we can do. And like I said before, we're still working out what we can do. And every trial we do, there's a new effect and an extra level of luster and a new design that we can make it work even better. Showing customers is great because, like you say, they all just assume it's either cold foil or, some of the jobs we're doing are even hot foil replacements that look fantastic as well. So.
The feedback's really good. Everyone's impressed with the sustainable credentials of it. Obviously, there is zero plastic involved in the transfer of that. Conventional cold foils, you've got the PET rewind on there. Hot stamp foils, you've got the PET backer on there. This is no plastic involved at all. So they're really impressed at what can be delivered in terms of the luster and the metallized nature of the effect, but they're also really impressed at the sustainability, the angle of that. And for us, it's very cost effective in terms of the way we produce it. So it ticks a lot of boxes for our customers. So interchangeability was key for us, a consistent print result for our customers. We like with our suppliers to choose people that share the same ethics and ethos that we do. We are all about innovation. And to sit with a supplier that is receptive of that and not just trying to sell something that's standard, out the box, that was really a key thing that KBA delivered. It's not something that's conventional in the industry, and we don't do things conventionally in the industry. We like to set that innovation apart. For them to take that on board, be receptive of the trialling and testing phase, that was really key. So we felt very supported with Koenig & Bauer. Some of the other providers, they would entertain it, but they were trying to steer us away into something more conventional within the industry, like a cold foiling unit, which we didn't want to do.
Yeah, it is fun. It's not boring, let's put it that way. And that's for the operators as well. They like doing the complex jobs where you've really got to think about it. We're not putting jobs on, running them for 3 days, then taking them off. We're probably spending longer on a mate ready than we are on running sometimes because we're trying new things and pushing the boundaries of what we can do. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's really making production a lot more efficient, so it's really doing exactly what we want it to.